welcome to South Bay Church's host life group training. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to go through some of the content of how you can have a successful hosting experience with your life group. Thank you so much for stepping forward and being obedient to what God is calling on your life to be able to host a life group in your home. And we believe that there's nothing that will have a greater impact in your life, but in the people that will be joining your group as well. So thank you for taking that step today in hosting a group. So we're going to have a lot to cover today, so we'll try and keep it quick. But first I want to share a little bit about what's happening at South Bay Church this fall and keep you all in the loop a little bit about the events and the timeline of events of what we have. So we have a few slides we're going to be going over together, a couple short videos, so bear with me as we're getting through this, and you'll get some great tools, so make sure you use your pen and paper to take notes as we get through this training. So let's look quick at this timeline that we have about this fall. So this fall, we have a lot going on at South Bay Church, and so here's a little bit of a timeline for you to be able to look through the different things that we'll be doing together as a church. So you'll see right here on August 10th, which is on Sunday, will be our first week for signups for life groups. So this is the beginning of signups for us as a church, and through the whole month of August and the first week of September, people will be signing up for your life groups on Sundays, online, and from your personal invitations as well. So month of August is dedicated to signups. And you'll see on week 1, this is the first week, this is the kickoff of life groups, which actually starts on September 1st. So as you're going through your preparation for your group, September 8th will be the first week for you to kick off. Then you'll see right after that is the Art and Wine Festival. That actually is at the end of the first week of life groups. And this is a great opportunity for you to kick off your group strong and get your group to serve together on that week. This is a church-wide initiative that we do for our North San Jose campus, and it's a great opportunity for your group to get together, to be able to bond and serve at an event to make an impact in our community. We have another great opportunity like that at the Oktoberfest Festival in Mountain View at our Sunnyvale campus. That's the event that they're going to be serving at. And so if your life group is in Sunnyvale or around that community, you attend that campus, great opportunity for your group to serve together on October 4th through 5th. Then you'll see on week 5 is Vision Week. And Vision Week is going to be a special week where we're going to be talking about the future of South Bay Church. And so in each of our life groups, Pastor Andy is going to have a special message for you about the future of the church and what it's going to look like moving forward. And so you're going to want to make sure that everybody in your group is going to be there and attending for that, because it's going to be a very, very special week. Then week 8 is the last week of our life group campaign for spirituality for the rest of us. And it's a time for us to celebrate what God did during the last 8 weeks, to celebrate the new friendships that were built and the growth that happened. And also a time for us to pray together and really believing for God to do even greater things through us and through our church. Now, after that 8-week mark, you'll see those are post-campaign groups. So our groups that some of you are going to be continuing your groups after the 8 weeks and maybe going through a different curriculum. So those of you who are planning to do that, you'll have to let us know what curriculum you're wanting to do moving forward. But not every group. Some of you may choose to take a break, and that's fine. But you'll see in there's a couple different things happening. There's a Vision Weekend and a Commitment Weekend. And that has to do with the Vision Week we talked about, talking about the future of our church. And Pastor Andy is going to have a specific message that weekend to speak about the future of South Bay Church. And then after that, there's going to be a weekend for people to commit to being all into this vision for South Bay Church. So we have actually a special message right now from Pastor Andy. We have this short video where he's going to explain the vision moving forward and what's going to happen to keep you all in the loop as our host, as the ones leading the way in our church with our life groups. So let's watch a short video from Pastor Andy.
Hey, I want to say thank you to you for your willingness to host a life group this fall for the Spirituality for the Rest of Us campaign. I honestly believe that this is going to be one of the best seasons of life change in the history of South Bay. There are going to be people that come and choose to follow Jesus for the very first time. There are going to be marriages restored. There are going to be people that find community and hope all through you, all through your willingness to open up your home, your apartment, and ultimately your life to being used by Jesus. So I want to say way to go to you. This ride is going to be a blast, and we're going to look back on the end of this and have some incredible stories. It's amazing to think of hundreds of life groups from South Bay spread across Silicon Valley when just a few years ago there were only a few families with a vision to make a difference. And proud of you, way to go. And that's why I'm so excited to share with you. We're at a new leaping quantum leap jump point of faith in the trajectory of our church, where this fall, immediately after the Spirituality for the Rest of Us campaign, we're going to do an initiative called the All In Initiative, where we've reached this point as a church where it's time for us to go all in to the vision that God has for us in the future. And this All In Initiative is going to be about several major projects that God has in store for us. And at this point, I don't have the time to share with you all the details around it. Some of it's around providing more space for both of our campuses. But here's what you need to know. At the end of September, we're going to have a private meeting, just us, life group leaders and hosts, in our home with Stacy and I, where you're going to hear more details about these initiatives. And it's very important for you to be there. So you're going to get an invitation in the mail that gives you all the details that you need to join us to be a part of one of these meetings. And it's important for you to attend, not just so that you know, but also in your life groups, you're going to emphasize this All-In Initiative as well. And so that week number 5, you'll see in your calendar, is where you'll begin to tell your life group, and you'll get those details at the meeting at my home that you'll receive an invitation to in the next few weeks. Also, the 26th of October through November 1st, that week of groups, the end of our time together, will be a time of prayer. And we really do believe that prayer makes a difference and changes people's lives. And those group meetings will be focused in on prayer around the All-In Initiative. And then on November 9th and 16th, we're going to challenge the people of South Bay to give a sacrificial gift towards these projects through the All-In Giving Initiative. And so you want to mark your calendar for those dates so that you, as a leader, as a host, can be ready and be present on our campuses both of those days. And it's going to be amazing to see what God does. I love thinking back on our history as a church and seeing the culture of South Bay. A huge part of what God has done. It's really unordinary for a church to see so many lives changed in the first 5.5 years of its history. And it's because of you. It's because of people like you that are willing to open up your lives to be used by Jesus. Last time we did a huge initiative like this, God, through you, provided the resources for what is now our North San Jose campus. And now our church is over 4 times the size it was at that point. And I think God's got some incredible things in store. And this is just the beginning of the vision He has for us to make an impact in Silicon Valley, Bay Area, and beyond. And the ride is going to be awesome to see so many lives impacted and to see the vision of God's vision for our church come to fruition. So let's get ready. Let's be praying. Let's come with anticipation this fall, both with life groups, the All-In Initiative. God has some great things in store, and He's going to use you to make it happen.
That sets the tone a little bit and gives you the vision for what's happening here at South Bay Church. And hopefully you're as excited as we are to be moving forward as a church in all this. So thank you again for what you do here as groups hosts. So now we're going to get into more practical things leading up with your groups. And we're going to talk about our 3 wins for life groups. And so with life groups, we have 3 wins. Our wins are essentially our goals. It's how we are able to say whether or not we accomplish what we want to accomplish as life groups. And so we have 3 wins that we're going to be talking about: grow, connect, and serve. So see right here, we have this diagram for grow, connect, serve. And it looks like a little bit of a recycle thing because these 3 ideas of our life group wins kind of feed into each other. As people connect with each other in relationships, there's always a sense that we also grow together as we're all striving toward the same goal in our group. As we're going to be going through the same context together, we're going to want to grow together. And as we grow spiritually, as we grow ourselves, there's a sense that we want to become more outwardly focused to serve the people who are around us. And as we serve those who are around us and we are more outwardly focused, we get to actually build more relationship and connect with more people, which leads to more growth and for more service. And so those are our life group wins and how they serve each other and accomplish our goal here as groups. So as we look here into this specifically for growth, our goal for growth is that people are growing to become more like Christ and know Him better. And the idea is that people are moving from being distant from God And as they're growing, they become more intimate with God. And see, we have this little scale at the bottom that goes from 0 to 10. And through our groups, we're not trying to bring someone all the way from a 0 to a 10 within the span of our 8 weeks, but just one step at a time, that we would help each person in our life group to grow one step forward in their journey, in their intimacy with God. And so think through, what are some of the goals that you can set in your group for you to be able to get your people to grow spiritually. Maybe it's to be more intentional about setting a time to pray together as a group. Maybe it's to talk through passages of the Bible together. Whatever it might be, whatever works for you and for the people in your group, but identify things that you can do to grow together. Now the next one is connect, so that people are connecting in real life-giving friendships. That they're moving from a place of isolation, and as they're connecting, getting into authentic friendships. So think through, what are the things that you can do to take people one step forward on that scale to become more in authentic friendships, to be able to be more connected and make new friends. And the last one is serve, that people are serving others and reaching those who are far from God. That we're moving from a place of being self-centered, and through our service that we become more outwardly focused. And so again, set a goal with your group. Maybe it's to have one event during your 8 weeks that you serve together, like the Art and Wine Festival, or the Oktoberfest that's happening in Mountain View. Do some things together that will get you outside of your inner circle in your group. Maybe it's serving on a Sunday with one of our teams here. Figure out what's the best way for you to get the people in your group to serve and become more outwardly focused. Okay, so now we're actually going to get into the main meat of our time together. And we're going to cover 5 key tasks for you as a life group host, of things that you want to focus on to have the best, most successful life group experience. So here are the key tasks for your group. And number 1 is fill up. This is how to get people into your group. Number 2 is follow up. This is how you get people to stick and be a part of your group. And the third one is focusing, which really has to do with preparation for your group as you get ready for your group to kick off. The next one is facilitate, which is what exactly happens during your group. And the next one is food and fun. So we're going to talk first about fill up, inviting others to join your life group. And before we do that, we actually have a short video to kind of give you some ideas, not on how you want to fill up your group, but actually ideas on what not to do to invite people to your group.
Hello?
I have Mr. Snuggles. Come Monday night if you want to see him again. 7:30. Brit chips.
What?
Hey David, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I really want to talk to you. You should go to my life group, man.
Whoa, man, whoa!
Hey, so Leia, I was thinking you should join my life group at South Bay. It's on Monday nights at 7. We're going to this awesome video series. You should be there. Are you free?
I'm ready. I have stuff.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
No.
Okay, I'll see you on Monday then.
Hey man, what are you doing on Monday night?
Monday I usually work out.
Oh, well, you should come to my life group and get a workout for your soul. Hey man, I know we just met, but I noticed that you don't seem to have any purpose in your life. You should come to my life group on Monday.
Well, I just took on a second job. I'm paying that car off, so I took on...
Oh, you're pretty busy, huh?
Yeah.
I'll bet Jesus was busy when he was dying on the cross paying for the sins of humanity.
I got you some coffee. Thanks, man. What the heck? See you at my life group on Monday. Hey Sean, you want to watch this movie that I got?
Sure, what is it?
So it's about these guys that like go inside their own minds, like find themselves and stuff. It's pretty crazy. It's more like a little 8-week mini series kind of thing.
I guess so. It sounds pretty cool.
All right, cool.
Tim, if you don't come to my life group, we can't be friends anymore.
What? No!
Come to my life group Monday nights at 7:30. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. Please do yourselves a favor. Hey, guy on the cell phone. Cell phone guy. Come to my life group. Oh, really? Oh, well, God bless you too.
Well, I hope you had a good time watching this and we're able to take some key notes on how not to invite people to your life groups. I guess there's three things I took out of it. One is don't do anything illegal. Number two is don't be mean. And number three is timing is everything. But let's get real practical now. Let's talk about what are some real things that we can do to invite people to our life groups. Let's look at a few key things right here. So we're talking about filling up our group. So the key things that you can do right now to invite people to your group. Of course, there's your personal invitation and the people that you know that you're friends with, that you have pre-existing relationships with. But you can also email people to invite to your So we're talking about fill up right now, how to fill your group and invite people to be a part of it. And so there's a few things that you can do to invite people apart from the personal relationships that you have with them. Some things you can do, for example, is send an email. You'll actually each have a link specifically for people to sign up for your life group. And you can use that and email it to your friends and let them know that your group is happening and communicate with them through that. Another way is using social media. You can communicate with your friends that way. Of course, we don't want to do a social media overload and overwhelm people with what we're doing, but to use it as a tool to invite friends to our life groups. Another one is use the invite cards. In the packet that you received, the blue packet, you had some invite cards for you to be able to write your group information in it. And as you're inviting your friends, you can hand out those cards and give it to them as a tool for you to invite them to your group. Another thing you can do is a block party. Maybe you want to do something where each week you invite your whole neighborhood to your place and do a potluck and a grill out and make the content of the group a part of it and let everybody know. Of course, you don't want to go and do a bait and switch on them, but to do a party as a part of your group and inviting people in your neighborhood. Something else you can do is do an activity with your group. Maybe you like cycling or running or some sort of other activity and you get a group of people together to do that often, and maybe suggest doing something alongside and have a discussion on the content of spirituality for the rest of us with your group. Maybe it's you already have lunch with a group of people regularly. Maybe it's at your workplace. Maybe it's another kind of group that you're a part of. But if you're already having lunch and spending an hour together, why not suggest to do something more intentional to deepen your relationship and to grow as well? And then think about your audience. Who are the people that you are inviting, and what are the best ways to communicate with them to invite them? For example, if I'm inviting a college student, the first thing I'm going to tell them is, hey, there's going to be free food. You're probably going to want to be there, and I can guarantee that they will. Maybe it's someone who's new to the area, and for them, the best way to invite them is say, hey, you're new here. This is a great way for you to meet people and to make new friends. Maybe it's someone who's searching spiritually, and you can tell them this is a great place for them to be able to learn new things and to grow in their spiritual journey in an environment that is safe and that is welcoming. So think through the best ways to target the people and invite the people who are around you. So that's fill up. So now we've talked about fill up. Afterwards is follow up. So that's getting people to stick. So we want to make follow-up as personal as possible. Once people start signing up for your group, you're going to be receiving emails and you're going to be communicating with them. And so as you're getting those signups, the first thing you want to do is email the people right away within the first day that they sign up for your group, and make it personal. Make it with their first name in the beginning of the email. Don't make it a general mass email that you send to everybody, not on the first one. And then make a phone call and make them feel that they are cared for and that we know that they are a part of the group. Now, you'll also see inside of your guide for hosts, there is a communication guide on one of the pages there, and that will walk you through week by week what it looks like for you to communicate with your group, from the follow-up in the beginning all the way to the end, and reminding them of events and things that are happening to make sure that you have the most effective follow-up and communication with the people in your group. Now, I'm going to walk you through a little bit about using InFellowship. InFellowship is our online database software that we use for our groups, and it's a place for you where you'll be able to track your group activity and people who are a part of your group, to do attendance, to send emails, and to be able to see who's interested in being a part of your group. So we'll be sending you another video that will walk you through specifically how to use it, but I want to give you a brief overview so you have an idea of what it looks like. So you'll see right here, using InFellowship, you go to southbaylifegroups.org. And if you've never used it before, you can click register on the top right. If you have before, you can use sign in. And so as you register for yourself, you'll just have to put in your name and information, and then it'll link you right away with your group on the back end. It'll ask you for an email confirmation, and so you'll have to click once you receive your email, and once you confirm, it'll sign you right in automatically into your home page. And so your home page is the one right there on the left. It will show you your profile and some different settings, and you're going to want to click on your groups. And once you click on your groups, it'll lead you over to this next page that'll actually show all the groups that you lead or host. And so right here, you see there's Spirituality for the Rest of Us, a co-ed group. And so this is our group. And so once you click on that group, it leads up to this home page, which is the home page for your group. And here you'll see on the dashboard, it has some basic information about your group, where it meets, the meeting time, when the next meeting is. You'll see at the next tab over is a roster. Those are the people who are confirmed to be a part of your group. The next tab is attendance. And attendance is really to help us know how many people have been attending your group and how involved our church is involved in groups overall. So it's a really important thing to do for you with your group. And the last one is our prospects tab, which shows you the people who are interested in being a part of your group and need to be followed up with and contacted. You also have some settings. If you click on the spin wheel on the right corner as well, you can send a mass email to your group to let them know about events and things happening and welcoming them in your group and things like that. So it's a great tool to have, and it will help you to have the most successful experience in communicating with your group members. Now, there's one little cliff note that we want to say with this, is that we've been having issues with this database using Yahoo and AOL addresses. So if you currently have a Yahoo address, when you log into this, or AOL, try and use a different type of address like Gmail for communicating with your group members, because it's been having issues through Yahoo and AOL to communicate, to send emails on your behalf in this. All right, so that's our InFellowship program. Next, we want to talk about focus, which is preparing for your group. So there's a lot of things that you can do in preparation, but the number one thing we want to say is pray before your group actually meets. Pray for your group members individually, and pray for your group as a whole that God will prepare them as they're going to be joining you in your group on this journey spiritually, and as you're connecting together in friendship. So pray. We believe God is going to do incredible things as we partner with Him in this. The next thing is prepare questions and materials ahead of time. There are questions already in the participants guides that you can look over, but look through the videos beforehand too, and make sure you read the chapters. It'll make it the best experience for you as a life group host. The more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel, and the better you'll be able to facilitate conversations. And the last part is we say create a welcoming environment. And by that we mean to make sure that you clean up your place to make it a place where people can sit down and be able to have a good time together. It doesn't have to be perfect. We don't want to communicate that we're perfect people and that everything about our lives is perfect. That's not how it should be. But make sure that there's enough space for people to sit down. Make sure that there is nothing sticky all around, and make sure there's snacks available for people to be able to snack on and enjoy. There's so much bonding that happens when we share food together, and it's a great way to create a welcoming environment, and it's such an easy thing to do. So there's a few things that you can do to focus in preparing for your group. Now, as you're preparing to facilitate having a successful group time, there's a few things that you can do in preparation as well. And the first thing is we say break the ice. In the beginning, especially in the first week where a few people might not know each other, it's a great opportunity to ask some fun questions and get to know each other a little bit better, or use some games to open up a conversation. You'll see in your host guide there's a few icebreaker game suggestions that you can use, but you can make up your own or do something that you think will be fun to get people in your group to open up. Second thing is using the discussion guide and the book questions. So you'll see the questions that we already have listed in our discussion guide, but as you look through the book, at the back of the book, there's actually more questions that you can pull from. And so as you're preparing, if you feel like there's some other questions you want to ask, make sure you write them down and look in the back of the book to see what questions you might be interested in using as well. Now, we want to get everybody to participate in the life group, in the conversation. And sometimes people will dominate the conversations and other people will be more quiet. And it's your role as the host and the facilitator to be able to speak with them and to be able to get the conversations to go from one person to the other. And so it's your role to be able sometimes to quiet down the person who speaks too much and to ask someone who's more quiet to speak up a little bit, because often the quieter person is the one that has the best thing to say. But the thing we don't want to also make you feel is that silence sometimes is wrong to have. Actually, silence is okay. You can have silence in your group. It's fine. We don't want it to drag on too long, but don't feel that you as a host have to be talking to fill the gaps, because sometimes a moment of reflection is necessary for us to be able to draw the most out of it. Now, another thing that we want to say is you want to be punctual. You want to start on time and you want to end on time. We live in a region where people live minute by minute on this crazy schedule, and we want to be respectful of that. And so be punctual, start on time, and maybe a way you can do that to give yourself a little bit of buffer is that you would make every first 10 to 15 minutes of your group more of a social time for people to hang out and eat snacks, and then start the video for your group that will then lead into the discussion. But make sure that you have a set start time and a set end time. And maybe you're not done with a conversation when the end time hits, but give people the freedom if they need to go to be able to stand up and leave, and those who want to stay can continue the conversation. Now, the next one we want to talk about is dealing with difficult people, which that's something we actually want to give you the freedom in and the authority in as you're hosting your group, that you might have some people sometimes that bring up questions that take away from the conversation. You might have people who are distracting the whole group, or who are dragging the group down emotionally, and who become difficult for you even to handle as a host. And we want to give you the freedom and the authority as a host to be able to say, if this person needs to be removed from your group, that you're able to do so. Maybe you need to have a conversation with your team leader about it first, that they can help you out with that process. But to let you know that you have the authority when people come in the way like this. We don't want to sacrifice the many because of the one, right? Sometimes we want to avoid one awkward conversation, and then the rest of the group suffers as a result of it. We would rather sacrifice the one so that the many will be able to have a much better group experience. And then lastly, our life group covenant. You'll see also in your booklet, there's a covenant in there, and this is a tool that you can use with your group to be able to have people to be committed and be able to communicate with you and to feel like this is a safe environment. And in that covenant, we talk about being consistent, for your group people to agree together that we're going to be consistent to this life group. If I won't be there at the group, I will communicate with the host. We talk about confidentiality, that whatever is shared here will stay here, and that we can know that this is a safe environment for us to share from our hearts. Talk about contributing, that we're communicating, that we're sharing, that we're being involved in a part of the conversation. and about community, that we are being intentional about building friendships, that are making community in our groups. And so this is a great tool. You don't have to have people in your group sign a covenant necessarily to be a part of your group, but to at least communicate those things in your first meeting to let them know that this is something that we want to take seriously to some level, because we are committing to this together in this journey for the 8 weeks. So those are the successful tips for you to have a successful life group in facilitating. Now, the last one is food and fun. And I think that's kind of self-explanatory, but you want to have a great time with your group. You want to do icebreakers before your group starts. Plan some of those out for people to get to know each other. Bring some snacks to the table each week. Have a sign-up going on like that. You can have people actually commit to being there and bringing something to eat each week, and it relieves the burden off of you. And then plan a hangout event. Do something for your group at least once that's 100% social. Maybe it's after your life group, you guys are going to all go out together and have dinner. Maybe it's with your group, you want to go and do a barbecue and a grill out a few weeks into your group. Maybe it's going to Great America together. Maybe it's going to the beach doing a bonfire. Whatever it might be, find some things that you can do as a group that are 100% social for the purpose of connecting and bonding together as a group. All right, so I know that was a lot of material to cover all at once, but I hope you're bearing with me. We're almost there. There's just a few more things that we want to share with you as we're concluding our time for this training. I hope you were able to find some helpful tools there with those 5 F's and having a successful group experience. I want to share with you a little bit more now about the structure of life groups, and so you have an idea of what it looks like for you to get some support and some help as a host. So let's look right here at this little graph that we have about the structure of our groups. So here's our life group structure. And so you'll see at the top is our planning team. This is the team that helps coordinate the strategy and the logistics and the behind the scenes of life groups. And our planning team works to support our team leaders. And our team leaders are people who are very experienced group leaders who have been in this for a long time. And they're there to be your primary support as a group host. Our team leaders have been leading groups and hosting groups for a long time, and they have so much wisdom and so much that they can bring to the table for you as a host. So make sure that you take advantage of it. You'll be hearing from them if you haven't already, and they're there to be your primary support as a host for your life group in this season. So make sure that you get to know them a little bit. They'll be there to pray for you, to support you, to encourage you, and give you resources for your group. And I think there's nothing that's more encouraging, especially when you're doing something, especially if you're new at this, to know that there's someone behind you that's cheering you on, that's caring for you, that's praying for you and believing in you. There's nothing to me that's more encouraging than that. And that's your team leader. So know that they're here for you and to support you and to encourage you in this journey with your life group. So that's our structure for life groups. So as we conclude our time, I actually want to spend a minute right now praying for you as a host, for God to do incredible things through you, and then we'll wrap it up together. Jesus, I thank you so much for allowing us to serve with you in this. Thank you for the hundreds of hosts that have stepped up to be able to open up their home, to facilitate conversations about what it means for us to know you and to connect with you. God, we pray that you would do incredible things through our group this semester, beyond what we could ask or imagine, that more people would connect in friendships, will grow in their journey spiritually, and will be able to serve to impact their world and their communities. We're so grateful for this privilege of being here and serving you in this way and to be able to bless others. Would you do great things through us? We love you, we thank you, we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. So I want to thank you today for stepping up to host a life group. We are excited for you, we're cheering for you, we're believing in you, and that God is going to do incredible things through you this semester. If you have any questions or you're ever curious about some more things about life groups, please communicate with us. You can get in touch with me at tim@southbaychurch.org, or also contact one of your team leaders. So you have a great semester, a great 8 weeks hosting your group, and I believe God is going to do incredible things through you.
So good, so good to me. So good, so good to me. So good, so good to me.